Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another day in my life. Now, today's day in my life is extra special because this is actually the day before I went into labor, leading all the way up until like hours before I went into labor. So it turned out to be fun that I got all of this on camera. Now, one thing I didn't get on camera in this video was me doing voiceovers for a previous day in my life. If you saw my last day in my life vlog, I mentioned that those voiceovers were recorded a couple of hours before I went into labor. So basically this day, I just didn't film myself recording voiceovers. Is this making sense? This is probably way too much information, but I feel like they're fun little notes to give. Now, the irony of this video is all of the literal last minute things that we were doing. We literally got multiple things done on this day. So with that being said, let's hop in to my final day of pregnancy. Now this was my bump. It's crazy to know that this was like less than 24 hours before he'd be outside of my belly. When I was showing you my bump, Dan was behind me playing his bass because this was a Saturday and Dan was actually scheduled to play on worship team the following day on Sunday. So he was sitting at our kitchen table practicing his songs. Little did he know he would not be playing worship team the following morning because we would be having our baby. Now, I was craving one of these Suja lemonade drinks on this afternoon, so I decided to pull it out. It's an easy drink to grab and really clean ingredients. Now, I'm not kidding you guys. Dan literally put on the final touches on this Saturday, and that was going around the room and adding some rustic touches to the wood, distressing it a little bit to make it look more worn in. So he had already put up all of the shiplap and painted everything, and he did the distressing with a combination of a couple of different techniques. One was using this automatic sander. He did a couple of pieces by hand and used different grits. I know I've said this like 12 times, but it's been so fun watching Dan put this room together. Like I told you guys, he's never done this before, and Dan really is a very detailed artist. So it's fun to watch him engineer something together and then also put his artistic touches on things. He did a really good job distressing these walls. He does have some experience though. He worked with my mom for a few years when she had a furniture company and when she would just do furniture around the house a lot, and he would always help her distress the furniture. Now, I was literally running around like, Dan, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And one thing that I just compulsively felt needed to be done was we needed to re-caulk around the sink. I was just very adamant. I really want clean caulking put on. So he came in and took off all of the caulking, which was looking really gross and dingy. And he took his little knife thingy and peeled all of it back so that he could start the caulking from just a fresh beginning. I feel like I can't say the word caulking. Why does it feel like a weird word? I feel like a stereotype in terms of nesting looking back, because I literally was frantically just doing random tasks around the house and having Dan do them as well. Now, I like to give updates on my seedlings and the garden, and this was what was going on. And it was really awesome to have my tower garden doing so well when I went into labor, because this following week when Dan was making freezer meals, we were also able to have a bunch of fresh salad as well. And by the way, this was another random task that I wanted to do with my garden. My parsley was so grown in that I wanted to cut some down and put it in the freezer to have to use in chicken noodle soup or smoothies or whatever. Another random task is I picked a couple more items from my closet to bring to Goodwill. Now, something else I wanted to do was make some freezer burritos. I hadn't gotten around to making them yet. I had made taquitos, but I wanted burritos. So I chopped up a bunch of veggies and I threw them into my pan to cook up. By the way, I get a lot of questions about my cookware, and I have done a review on these pans with Dan, and I also have them linked on my blog. I've mentioned this a few times recently, but I try and link all of the frequently requested or frequently asked items on my blog. You can literally just click room by room in my house where you've seen an item in my video, and I've tried to link it there. All of these veggies were cooking up, and I added in some salt and some pepper and a little bit of garlic salt, as well as some cumin. And then I stirred all of those together. Now, while those were cooking, I cooked up some rice and I threw in a can of Rotel. I forgot, I did make some beans, and I think I actually grated some cheese into the beans. There's Bowser, always waiting for food to fall off. Just kidding, I added the cheese after the beans. So then I added a scoop of the rice and Rotel. As well as some veggies. And the way that I froze these is I wrapped them up and I put them on a cookie sheet. Oh, by the way, look at the socks that I'm wearing. Those are compression socks, trying to keep my circulation going and not get swollen on this unknowingly last day of pregnancy. Anyways, these were awkward to freeze, but I basically rolled them up and put like items that I had on the burritos to help them hold their shape while they were in the freezer, getting like flash frozen, I guess you would say. And I put some in between two plates like that. When they were done, I wrapped them in saran wrap and foil and then put them in a Ziploc baggie to freeze. I have had one. It was really good. So now, last but not least, I think this is like the moment or the moments so many people have been waiting for, and that is me finally doing something with baby stuff. As you guys have seen, pretty much all of my nesting was just like preparing the house, and people had given us so much cute stuff for our baby shower, and I had never even gotten around to opening it. So I just think it's so funny the way that the body works, because I was overcome by the end of the day on Saturday night with a desire, a need to go through all of the baby stuff. I literally told Dan, I'm like, Dan, we have to go wash all of his clothes, unpack everything, put things in piles so we know where everything is. And we have to do it now. And I remember him looking at me and he's like now? Like, you really want to do it tonight? I was like, Dan, I really want to do it tonight. So this footage that you are watching is probably, I'm trying to do the math, about 5 hours before I went into labor. And it was right around this same time somewhere in here that I like stepped away in the other room to do voiceovers, because the way that I tend to work in flows through my house is I do little bits of things, like I'll bebop from one thing to the next thing. So I know I was hopping back and forth from like laundry in the closet and opening baby stuff to voiceovers to wiping down the floors. I'm not even kidding you. The nesting instinct, which obviously manifests differently in everyone, you know, just that desire to get done what you feel you need to get done, definitely kicks in towards the end of pregnancy. And like I said, the bigger irony was how much it kicked in on this night. So this is literally the extent of what he has set up in his baby room right now. It's just all of his stuff divvied up in a way that we can see and grab things, but nothing is like permanent or super cute or designed or set up yet. So you guys will continue to see that process unfold. Guys, that is it. The next day in my life that I will be uploading was our first week as new parents. months, having Logan in our life, Logan's first week of life. I'm excited to share that video with you guys. I also filmed a Q&A answering a bunch of questions about labor and delivery and pregnancy, and that will be coming up soon as well. Per the usual, don't forget to check my info box for today's mystery goodie box giveaway. And be sure to turn on your alerts because sometimes we have a hard time getting responses from winners, so I want you to be notified if we've reached out to you. I will hopefully see you back here soon with the next video, and that is all. Okay, bye guys.